Welcome. I'm Bill Wake. We're here working on the Sort Tables data viewer, and we've been changing the way the model works from a class-based one to a struct-based one. And I think today's the day we finally eliminate the class-based one. We'll see. All right, so that's the DatabaseViewModel, and DatabaseView is the view that works with it. All right, let's get our to-do. Eliminate DatabaseViewModel. Okay, so in DatabaseView, I think we want to look at everywhere that uses model. Okay. All right, so here we set the model's database name. Here we look at the model and get the tables out through the database. Okay, I think we may have to hold a database somewhere. We check for tables. We get the scoped columns. Let's check out this thing, scoped columns. Okay, well, I don't know where those are coming from. And let's see what else. Here's the join scoped columns again. That looked a little weird. Join model first, model first. That strikes me as odd. Oh, okay. That's when you add a new entry, we just default it to the first column. First column we see. Okay. Let's see what else. That doesn't count. I'm sorry, I missed one somewhere here. No, here. Save configuration view takes the database view model, changes configuration. Well, we may not be as close as I thought. So we take the selection. Is that passed in as well, right? Okay. I don't know if we need it for anything. That all uses selection. Okay. I don't think we're... I don't think we're using it for anything here other than we are updating it to the current situation. Now I think we could... Oh, wait. Save config. Where was that called again? Section, save configuration view with the model. Okay, so this, we are doing the view. And I don't think anything in the view is looking in the model, is it? No, so somebody must be doing an action on save config. If you click the button, we do change this. Okay, but if we get to the point where nobody's looking at database, then the fact that we change the configuration is going to be irrelevant. Okay, so it's close. All right. Well, I can see some things already. So one is the database. I don't know that anybody's looking at this. Let's go here and see who's referencing this. Lots of tests. DatabaseView saves it. DatabaseViewModel does stuff with it. Yeah, okay. All right. Trying to find the easy changes. What's DatabaseView doing? It really is just setting it when it sets the database. Okay. Unchange of current database. What is that? That's the string. Okay, so when we change that database, I think we have another change down here. Oh, on up here, database names, current database. Okay. All right, well, let's see. I think we can, I want to hold a database that's the current database. So in here, when we set database name, right, we trigger some work. We go out, whoops, not that one. Where's database name? Database name. Well, maybe it doesn't trigger work. Database name. Current database. Okay, so this is database name. A bunch of tests. We save it in here. DatabaseViewModel. What is, that's our view model. Database equals, oh, there's database name. Okay, yeah, when you change it, we update the database. Now, I think that is the piece that could be pulled out. So database in here, sorry, in here, database is SQL database. Yeah. Okay, so this is the thing I want to pull out. And the reason is this gets referenced. So model has tables. The implementation goes and says, ask the database. And let's see, where's model scoped columns? Let's see where that comes from. Database.scoped columns. So I think we can get the information from the database if we have it. Okay, so let's try that. All right. Now, I also think that can be owned by this view. I don't think we need to keep it anywhere else, in which case it's just state. Private for state, var, and let's just call it database equals SQL database, like that. Okay, so well, we can start there. Okay, so now database names, that's all coming from down here. Is database finder, current database equals current database name first. Okay, and then I think we want to say database equals so when this thing appears, we want to pick up this first name. All right, so this is SQL database of name, which is current database. Okay, so every time you change the database name, we should change the database too. That seems right. Now this is an edited field. Okay. So yeah, there's the picker that looks, it's got the list of all database names and it selects one of them. Okay, and then when the database changes, well, maybe that's a better place for that. No, it's not. We need to start with the one we have. But when it changes, we also need to do it. Okay, yeah, it's initialized and then it updates. All right. So if you change, where'd they go? If you change the current database, then we need to update the database as well. Current database. Okay. All right. And that's fine. All right. I think this should be harmless so far. I mean, all we're doing is creating a variable. We never look at it, but we're going to. And I lost something here. Where was initial true? Oh, yeah. So this runs the first time we set it up. Okay. So I think we can get by with just this one, because current database gets set down here. And then the first time you change it, including when you initialize it, we will set the database. Okay. And let's run. Okay, so we'll do our create database. Warning on join tables. All right, that should be fine. The database is test2.db. We can switch. We got new. Okay, and open database with just that table. Okay. That seems okay. All right, now let's see what we can do to eliminate the model. Okay, so let's find model. All right, we're keeping track of database name, that's fine. Here we go through and get model.database.table metadata. Let's just go to the database for that. Database table metadata. And then we're mapping it to selections. Okay. And again, model has tables. Well, I don't know if it, yeah, we should put a has tables over on database. Where's the model? Sorry, lost it. Okay, we'll need this. And SQL database. He's got tables. Well, let's give him a has tables. And that's really just not tables is empty. Okay. Let's use it in here, although I'm going to make that a var. I don't think I've been very consistent about doing this, but I think it's good. Database. Yeah, that's a good question. He's got the database name. He's loading. Okay, so he's loading from a file. Well, that doesn't tell us what he does with it. Oh, it's down here. Yeah, he passes it along. Let's see who calls this. Table. Well, he does not have the database. I think that's okay. We may come back around to that, though. All right. So DatabaseViewModel. Here we go. Okay, so we have this has tables now. Let's go back here. We don't want to ask model. We want to ask database has tables. Model again. Model.scoped columns. I think, again, the database has that. Yep. And DatabaseViewModel scope tables should just look for pass through. I mean, scope columns. Yeah, just passes through. Okay, so DatabaseView. Let's do database. That save configuration view, yuck. Okay. All right, let's, whoops. What did I do? These messages leave a bit to be desired. Somewhere I screwed up the form. Database has tables. Okay. Can we tell? I guess I'll run because some of that is only going to show up in the view. Create the database. All right, we're seeing the right tables. That's good. Add a join. We see the right stuff there. So, yeah, I mean, no surprise. Yeah, it should be possible to ask database for its name. I'm not sure if you need the database. Yeah, yeah. So the thing is, when are you calling that? Database selection. Right. So this is the one place that really needs the database name, because the working schema needs to know what database to get to. And this thing does not know the database. Oh, it knows the name. Well, okay, let's see this again. Okay, select its symbol. All right, so database selection sets it when you load. It passes it, I guess it is this to Memento. Okay. And that. So who calls to Memento? I mean, can they give us the database name when they call to Memento? Save configuration view. Excuse me. All right. Oh, and here. You would think he would know. All right. I'm gonna hold off on that one. I think it's a side issue to getting rid of DatabaseViewModel, I guess. But I do think we need to sweep through and kind of normalize or rationalize some of this stuff after. All right, database view. Let's find the next reference to model. Okay, that's fine. There. This one, I don't know if we can get rid of right yet. And that. Well, no, I think we are at a point, aren't we? What does anybody pull for model? We're setting it. We're passing it to save configuration. And that's it. Okay, so save configuration is really the only place that possibly cares. He updates the database, but that's writing the database. I don't think we care about that. All right, so I'm going to take this out for a moment. All right, let's. We will definitely have to run this. We're saving and stuff like that. Okay, whoops. Well, I'm glad the test passed. Yeah, the memento has the name, but the selection needs it. Well, it needs to get it to the working schema is the real reason it has the name, I think. Maybe it has to have it. Well, it needs to write it out when we're saving the configuration like this. Because the database is part of what this thing knows. But all right, so let's keep person this time. Registration, okay. And I'm gonna save it to a document. Tests 1214. .st. Okay. All right. So the question is, we save. Okay. And when we open, we should get person. All right. Yeah, I think because this only is writing it, it's not consulting it for anything. So that doesn't do anything. I think we have hit that point. Save configuration view no longer needs the model. Okay, and let's go find model. Setting it does nothing because we never look at it. Database view. We don't need the model anymore. All right, and then this is gone. Okay, let's run those tests. Now there's still some tests, out there that use DatabaseViewModel for their help for their job. Regrettably. Well, understandably, but regrettably. All right. Okay, so now database view, well, that's a big deal. We got rid of Eliminate DatabaseViewModel from DatabaseView. Okay, now who still references it? DatabaseViewModel, DatabaseConfigurationTests, DatabaseViewModel tests, and TableController. Oh, who references this? I don't think we use it now. Configuration. DatabaseSelection, but it doesn't use the model. DatabaseViewModel equals, but we don't reference it. Okay. Oh, wait. We are referencing it. Okay, hang on. Okay, so we set up one on configure database view. We configure it. I don't think this happens anymore. I think this is the key. We changed the configuration of the database view model, but I don't think that's referenced. And this one, the database view model, nothing happens to it. All right, and then this. Now this change really, we definitely don't test anything on the border between UIKit and Swift UI. Okay, I'm glad those work, but the real test is this. Okay, so we'll create a database configuration. We got test2db. Let's only do this. Let's save it. Test 1213b. Okay. Is the person. Okay. Let's do this and that. We'll open it with the class. So we should see those 5 columns. Good. Now we'll open the saved configuration, which was test 1213b.st. Sorry, I should make this bigger. And we get the names. Okay. So opening work, saving work. And let's find that model. Oops. This, get rid of this. Now where's completion ends there? Okay. So yeah, that comes out. All right, so we removed DatabaseViewModel from TableController. And let's keep track of this a little bit, the to-dos. It is the 14th. Okay. Whoops. And this is eliminate DatabaseViewModel from DatabaseView. Okay. From DatabaseView, from TableController. Well, an optimistic comma. All right. So that doesn't reference it. Let's find the references here again. Configuration tests and database view model tests. Okay, so that one I think we can eliminate. Just make sure what we're, oh wait, what's this? SQL support delete database. And this is not really a, okay, we dropped the behavior of renaming, so I think this file can go away. Database view model tests, delete. Okay. And back here. Well, those tests are gone. It's really used for this. Oh, they're in those tests. Okay. Well, let's just make a constant for it here. Well, I think I've messed things up. Let's revert that change. Hopefully that puts it back. Database. Well, okay. No, that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to revert those changes. Discard changes. Well, I don't care about that one. DatabaseViewModel tests I care about. Okay. What's the change here? Yeah, that's okay. All right. DatabaseViewModel tests. So what it's doing, it's got database name memory. Oh, interesting. Okay. Good. Useful. But let's just use it up here. I don't think they have to care now. Model.database name equals database name. We'll get them using this file only, and then clean them out. Okay. All right. So DatabaseViewModel, okay. All right, and then let's find references to DatabaseViewModel tests. Okay. Does anybody reference that? DatabaseViewModel tests only itself. Okay, let's try that again. That looks like it's running my Swift UI tests. I'm gonna turn this off. I'm not sure we want to keep them or not, but we definitely don't want to run them for now. All right, well, maybe there's no harm. I don't know what they look like. Oh, we're ignoring them anyway. Okay, yeah, let's not run them then. Okay, but at any rate, the test passed. That's the key thing. So eliminate database view model tests. Okay, so now this configuration tests, what are they doing? Okay. Right, that's this thing. Well, we took all the model references out. The only thing we have is the config string. Model database. Okay, this is configuration. Well, instead of a model, let's make a selection. Okay, and then we'll say selection dot database name equals database name. And then instead of model.configuration, let's do selection.configuration. Is that, I think it's selection.do to memento. And then we do this, we do a read, we check the read JSON on the file name. Okay, we're saving it to the file name. Now we read it back. Make sure it's storing that data that we care about. Okay. Yeah, we don't need a model for that. Okay, we create a configuration, we create a model, we create a ConfigMemento with a bad field, create a file, we try and write the field, we write the file with the bad field. Okay. Well, I don't know what the model's got to do with that. This thing's doing the writing. Okay, yeah, I think this can come out. Okay. So we write a bad file. We open this and we get a config back. Yeah, I don't think this is doing anything we care about. Let's look at the open. Yeah, anymore, that's all we do is read the file. So there's nothing there to, no point testing the model stuff. And same at the end. Okay, so let's make sure this test still makes sense. Write a bad file. Try and open it, which we don't need that either. The open itself should throw the error. Yeah. Okay. I think, well, let's run this test by itself. Wow, it didn't show up as a test. None of this shows up as a test. Are you running? Database configuration tests. Okay. Okay, they do run. All right, we'll take that. I don't know why they don't get a little diamond here. Database configuration test, open to text error format. Okay, yeah. All right, a little tedious doing this. All right, configuration to text file not found. Okay. Well, I think again, we're returning the config and not messing with the model, so I'm going to take this out. All right, so here's a configuration, an illegal file. Does the open throw the file not found? No, I don't. This doesn't really happen this way. I think this test is obsolete. Well, maybe not. It's, let's see, who's throwing file not found? Not this. Okay, yeah, I think this is obsolete. the config. Well, let's see who. Catch file not found. Search a little more globally for this. Database configuration. Oh, he does throw file not found on read JSON. Okay. Then I think if he's throwing it, this is really disconcerting that it doesn't let me test it. All right, and I'm not going to check the original. Open detects file not found error. And let me just clear these tests just to make sure there's no weirdness. Did that? Yeah, I think it was checking that the view model didn't get updated, but this doesn't update the view model, so I don't think that's the relevant thing anymore. But detecting the file not found, that's fine to know that through. Let's clean test results just to make sure we're running this stuff. Database configuration tests. Okay, good. Another underscore. Okay, so I think because we're removing the database view model from the equation, we don't really care about that as much. All right, this. Oh no, maybe this is. I guess I really want to care about the open config. Well, I should be complaining elsewhere too. Oh no, I did it that way. Okay. Open configures the model. Okay. Save saves the active columns. Configuration is just configuration. Original config. All right, pushing into the config directly. So it doesn't allow an empty one. This does not use document view model. All right, let's make sure these are good. Remove database view model from database configuration tests. Okay. Ooh, okay. Let's put this over with database configuration tests for now. Sorry, database configuration. Okay, and then this should have no usages. All right. Wherever you are. DatabaseViewModel. Well, before we delete, let's see what it references. ActiveTablesModel. Okay. ActiveTablesModel. Something about joins. We don't care about the cancellables. Active joins, JoinViewModel. All right. I think we can kill it. Delete this. Move to trash. I'm just going to clear everything out. Clean test. Clean build. Okay, run. Woohoo, big step. Okay. Now let's go see about ActiveTablesModel. Well, he's used by JoinViewModel. Okay, let's look for that one first then. Oh, he knows that. So you got mutually referencing classes. Interesting. Okay. This, it's tests, JoinViewModel tests. Okay. So if nobody's referencing JoinViewModel, it's only there for its tests. Okay, so let's take out JoinViewModel and ActiveTablesModel. ActiveTablesModel. JoinViewModel. Well, that guy's in our sites too, TableViewModel. But we'll get their tests first. ActiveTablesModel tests. And JoinViewModel tests. And once again, I'm just going to do a little clean and test. Well, duplicate table checker. Well, let's revert. Why doesn't it revert that? I mean, it's helpful to me that it's not, but... Now, did those models go away? Oh. Okay. ActiveTablesModel, TableViewModel. Let's move this over to TableViewModel. Which is also a candidate for going away. All right. JoinViewModel. Okay. Well, make sure this still works. Table test API JSON. Active table model tests. Oh. Blah, blah, blah. Sort table tests .swift source info. Sort table test .swift module. Swift doc. I don't know what's going on there. Cannot find active table model tests .swift or JoinViewModel tests. Did I still have those deleted? Yes. I think my revert did not revert what I thought it would. I appear to have reverted the top level project PBX or whatever the thing is. Okay, They're still in the cutting block. Okay, now I think I can delete this. And this. And this. And this. TableColumnViewModel. Okay. Oh, so if I revert this, it lets me revert the others, I guess. ActiveTablesModel.swift. JoinViewModel use. And what were the errors? TableColumnViewModel tests. Well, what are you testing? TableColumnViewModel. Oh, what are you? You're second class. Okay. Only used by JoinViewModel. All right. I keep deleting and undeleting, don't I? All right, but I think I can delete it safely. JoinViewModel, delete. ActiveTablesModel. He's still deleted already. He's deleted. Where's those other ones? These. Table, column, view, model, tests. Oh, cancel that. Let's do a source delete. No. Okay, who references this? TableViewModel test, TableViewModel, and fake duplicate table checker. Okay, I think that means there's no real code referencing it, just these tests, class itself, and then this is helper, test helper. Let's make sure he's only used by this. Yes, okay. Go back one, back two. Okay, so fake duplicate table checker. TableViewModel tests. TableViewModel. And this should build and test. Still messed up. Sort tables, JoinViewModel tests. Oh, I deleted that, right? Delete. No, I guess I didn't. I half deleted it. Okay. Let's see what it thinks I've done. Okay, ActiveTablesModel, JoinViewModel, TableViewModel, ActiveTableTests, fake check tests, JoinViewTest, TableColumnView. Okay. So let me catch these names. I guess this is TableColumnViewModel and their tests. Okay, assuming this all runs. Good. All right. ActiveTablesModel, JoinViewModel, TableViewModel, TableColumnViewModel. All right, and you can see from all these classes, and they all had the cancelable stuff, and it's this multi-level model thing that, well, it worked, but it's definitely not the easy way to do things. All right. Yes, command. Did I miss commit and push? I guess I must have. Okay. All right. Well, cool. All right, we had something still here. Let's see who calls this. I think it's that database configuration. Yeah. All right. So where do you live? Well, he's not working schema. Oh, configuration. Database configuration error. Oh, interesting. What's this versus that? Okay. Database configuration error. Who calls that? All right, well, it appears we have two error files used by database config. Huh, okay. Well, let's finish cleaning this out first. Nothing's using this folder anymore. And I'm just going to clean my build folder. Xcode's just not good about noticing where files deleted and moved. Okay. All right, now what's going on here? We got, let's look for error. A database configuration error, a database configuration error. Oops, that last one was a config error. Oops. Configuration. Through database configure invalid file name. Everybody else does database configuration error. All right, so let's move this into database configuration error. Oh. These. Just because I have no better order than alphabetical for these. Format error. Okay, and then I think database configure is no longer used. Move invalid file name error over to database configuration error and remove database config error. All right, I think that'll do it. Let's make sure that's green. Oh, somebody must reference it. Why? I guess they just used the name. Let's find configuration error. Okay. Good. I think I got everything. No? Okay. I think that's a break point, stopping point, at least to take stock. Okay, so we finished that major mission of getting rid of the database view model and all the little submodels, and what we've replaced it with is database selection. Which now contains the list of table selections and join, is far, far, far simpler than what we just deleted. Okay, we track a couple columns. We know whether the table is included and whether the columns are included, but there's not reference to class behind class behind class. So this is way, way, way less code than we deleted just now. So, I mean, in the last 45 minutes. Now, I did have one, I think table selection. I want to say, I wanted to say selected table, but maybe table selection's okay because it's the columns and the table. And it's kind of, yeah, I'm okay with the name, I guess. I wasn't at first glance. All right, but so that works so much better using published at the top level, and then everything else was done with all the classes are structs, and then we use binding sometimes to pass them in if we need to change things. And you can bind on the sub pieces of it as well, which I think is the piece I didn't quite catch 2-3 years ago when I was doing this. But yeah, this is far, far better. Okay, so kind of stuff we want to think about now. Database selection has exactly the same stuff as the memento, and I think because most of it is codable, we might be able to just make this the memento. This goes back to the joins. If you remember a join, it's like table name dot column name equals table dot column, but when we store it, we store the table index, and that just felt very funny. Like, we have the name there. What's the problem? So I might want to get rid of that notion and just store the name. Okay. Allow to create new table references to the same table. Okay, that's kind of restoring functionality we had. I don't have a user interface for that yet in mind. Improve the way we get table indexes in database selection. Well, if we can eliminate the indexes, I don't think that'll matter. Should we put scope columns in environment? I think I'll say not really. It's in the database, and we have to have the database around for stuff. Should the config.memento be a map of table to columns? Well, if we switch it over to database selection, it kind of will be. Select configurations to open rather than typing their name. Yeah, that's a nice user interface. We did that for the databases. Why not do it for the configurations? Add renaming of fields, another functionality thing. Should we save config when the database selection changes? I don't know. This is so you can kind of start editing on a database, switch to a different one, go back to it. I don't know. Offer to save before opening. I could definitely see that. So you've done this giant configuration and you haven't saved it. Like, should we at least give you a warning when you say open database? Yeah, I don't know. And then in TableController configure database view, we use try. I think, well, let's go find that one. Which one? Open database configuration. Configure database view. We got rid of that. That was from using the DatabaseViewModel. Needed that. Okay, so that one's gone. Yeah. Sorry, is what still there? Oh, the try? Yeah, that it is not. Okay. All right. So database selection able to be the memento. I don't know if it can. The one thing I don't know about it is this is observable object, and I don't think you can make those codable. We could look at making this a struct as well. It's fairly lightweight, right? I mean, it's really got these three sets of things that are already structs in every case. Strings are underneath the covers. Yeah, we'd take out a bunch of code like this stuff. I'd say it's worth a look. But I think this join index thing is actually in the way of that. So the information we have in the selection is the join column names, not the indexes that we go to all this trouble to convert them to. Okay. The only reason we need the memento is so we can load it back into our database selection. Okay, so if the database selection itself were the memento, this code goes away. You just mark it codable, and that's about it. All right. New table references. This is new functionality. This one. Let's keep those separate. Improve the way we get database indexes. Well, I think that goes away. Yeah, so I think the complaint there is this code is ugly, you know. Yeah, and it is, because I pretty much anticipated we would get rid of it, but so I didn't invest any refactoring in it. DatabaseConfigMemento being map table to columns. That's kind of the same question. Use that way in database. I don't think it matters. DatabaseViewModel doesn't use it. It really is database selection. All right. Configuration, renaming. Should we save config? I don't know about that one. I think if we offered to save, maybe this is before opening or switching database. I don't know. That might be too complicated. I'm going to leave that undetermined for now. I think this'll take us enough. All right. Yeah, the try. Okay. So let's focus on this. And this gets into, well, this is going to take us over into the actual sort table side of things because they clearly want that index. All right, so let's start at the top of this. Okay, so DatabaseConfigMemento, but who cares though, right? Yeah, this is weird because huh. So we write those out, but nobody looks at that except us. I think. All right, let's make sure who references DatabaseConfigMemento. Okay. Test, us, and our tests. I think it does this for no reason at this point. It maybe was easier. Well, okay. I think what it was, maybe it's a function of the renaming or something like that. The one working schema. Okay, yeah, let's pop over there real quick. Joins. Oh yeah, we wrote working schema. Is that no, that's the memento. Working schema. Table selection. Index colon. Where's that index come from? Well, it's not coming from the memento. It's just coming as we work our way through the list. And the working columns take the table names. Okay, yeah, I think it's a non-problem. Yeah, working schema does its own stuff, which, I mean, is it? I mean, we can certainly open up the can of worms that is working schema, but if it takes the names and then looks them up or whatever it does to them, I kind of don't care, in the sense that that's an encapsulated decision of working schema. If we're not passing them in, I mean, we pass an index. We just give each table an index. That's kind of boring too, but they get created with it. Okay, I don't think it's a big deal for us to do that. I don't know that it's necessary, but yeah. Okay, so I'm pretty sure we can pretty safely take care of this memento thing. And once we have that, that takes away a little bit of a surprise. And then I'll feel comfortable just attempting to convert this into a struct and then seeing if we can just use this object as a codable memento. All right, let's take that break, 3 or 4 minutes, and come back and see what we can do with the memento. Welcome back. All right, so let's look at DatabaseConfigMemento. That's the thing we're going to be changing. But in here, the selected columns, this was really 4 strings. So it was a string in an integer as a string, so like 0, 1, 2, but in strings, and then the column name. But the type itself won't care whether the string has a name or a letter string in it. Okay. So I think this is, well, it's sort of a refactoring. We initialize from a config memento, and then do we write a config memento? Yeah. Okay, so table selections, filtered tables, active joins. Right, so here, join.column1.table is a string. So let's change to that. $0.table equals. Wait, what's it doing? Oh, it's finding the first index where that is that. Okay, so this should just become this, which we did write at one point because I didn't remember that they had been numeric. This. All right, so that's the writing. Nothing else cares that we did that. And then we have to, with that, we have to do the memento. So instead of toInt, well, memento memento.joins. Okay, set the strings. Oh, it was the joins that were the 4 strings, not the selected columns. Okay, so the joins, join parts is the 0, 1, 2, 3 thing. Right, so the table is join parts sub 0. And the column is join parts sub 1, and the table is join parts sub 2. Now there may be a test somewhere that, we should go through those tests because they probably assume if they create a memento that it's, that it's that structure. DatabaseConfigTests. Memento, okay. Right, so this should be T1, C1, and table 1 is T2. Okay. And then here, this is T1, 0, 1, 2 is T3. Okay. All right, and then memento here. I'm going to take these type declarations out. Where's memento? Oh, this one. No, that doesn't matter. Table names, class names. We don't do any joins there. No joins. And no joins. Okay. Now I thought there might be one that took an existing memento file written out and then tried to read it back in or something. We may have eliminated that. Yeah, we can't load old config files. So theoretically, I should change that format to like format version 2 because we just changed the format. But I'm the only user and I don't have any active files that I care about rereading the config. So I'm going to let it go. I'll reconstruct them if I have them. But the example I use all the time is really the one example I was working with. So it's not gonna be a problem. Oh, there's a test failing. Okay. Memento includes joins. Oh, there we go. Okay, let's get those tables. Table selection is parent of person registration. 0, 1, 2. Okay. Parent, this is person. 1 is person. No, that's not how it works. What's 3? Let's see. Oh, we got 4 tables. 0 is not used. Parent is 1. Person is 2. Registration is 3. So table parent of is 1. Table registration is 3 and person is 2. Okay, good. So we modified config files to use table names rather than table indexes. Now notice the renaming thing, that's probably why that got done in the first place, was to make the name in the join independent of the table name versus the renamed name. But I think if we go back and do the renaming, we'll just make sure that we're storing the renamed table and as the one we reference. We may have consequences from that, but that's okay. All right, so we make join store the real table name rather than an index in DatabaseConfigMemento. Improve the way we get table indexes. Okay, we don't have to do that because we just got rid of it. Except I think I have a toInt. I don't think is used now. Okay. Make database selection able to be the memento. Yeah, that'll be an interesting one. Okay, so all right, so database selection. I'm gonna let's open up that config memento again. Is that here? Nope. Here. Okay, so yeah, see, we mark this thing codable, and because all the fields are primitives, it's string, 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 array of strings, array of array, it can automatically generate the code to write that as a JSON or read it as a JSON. So in principle, if I put this on database selection, well, I think it's going to croak because I don't think I can do it with observable objects. Anytime it can convert itself. All right, let's build. Yeah, already it's right. He can't conform to encodable or decodable. So I think that's my sign that I have to make this be a struct, in which case it's no longer at published. Well, I don't quite know what happens here. Let's see who's using this. I don't think it's a lot. Table configuration, TableController. Database selection. All right, well, let's go down the path and see what happens. Okay, now we don't do published anymore. Yep. Well, this may take a couple tries. We'll see. Okay. Now you think something, now most of these, yeah, these things are not changing it per se. This creates one, and apparently we're not doing anything wrong there. That's a function of the state. That's a function of the state. That's a function of state. And that's a function of state. So none of these things care. Let's see who else. Now, the problem I anticipate is what happens when somebody wants to depend on this. Yeah, DatabaseView is the real bear. Okay, so he's not state. I don't know if we have to pass a binding to him. Observed object means somebody else was declaring it. We want to find his constructors. Okay, DatabaseConfigcontroller. That's the hosting view. DatabaseView, root view. Yeah, I think I want to pass a binding to him. Where are those errors? Observed object requires that data selection. Okay, he's a binding. State, oh, it's the preview. Database selection. I think I just do state. Insert dollar. And I'm expecting I have to insert a dollar sign up above too in TableController. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Are you going to offer to insert a dollar sign? Is it going to work? Oh no. Yeah, this is kind of what I was afraid of. Well, it means I don't know how to pass a database selection. Get the declaration, sorry. Okay, so we declare database selection. Yeah, who's observing it? So it really is, the table controller is owned by the hosting UI controller or whatever that class was. And it's trying to create this instance. Well, so I wonder if I can I create an object with an observable view that really just has one entry, which is a database selection? Is that what I have to do? But we'll do some research. Let's see if we can figure out how to pass a bound value to a UI kit or a UIU controller. All right. UI hosting controller with a state object. I don't know if that'll. Well, let's see. Making UI hosting controller hold a binding. I don't know if that makes sense. Passing a binding. He's got observed object. Okay. You can't use a binding between a UI view controller and a view. Okay. If that's correct, okay, let's see if we can find somebody else that says something about that. Use binding with UIHostingController. Different problem. All right, I think we're getting a little out of the range of things that make sense. Okay, so let's fall back to database selection. Boy, I've got database configuration and database config. That seems funny. This is database, I don't know, selection. Bridge. But what's published? I guess it's the database selection. Not very happy. Can I start off with an empty one? Database selection. That's got to be that. Selection. That's not a binding. I don't want to say at binding. Create bindings for a type concern to use the bindable property wrapper. Okay, that sounds more like it. Look at it. He's observable. Okay, I feel like I'm close, but I just have no idea what the tie-in is. Here you can do $book once you've got it in the view. But, okay, we got this observable. Right, but that's not observable object. Cannot convert database selection to binding. Let's go back. Creating a binding. So binding of some value. That's going to be a mess. Okay. If I say binding of selection, does that make anybody happier? Sure, switch UI. Can I convert value database selection to expected type argument? It's funny, they give you the example that is nothing like that constructor. Creating a binding, init with a binding of value. Enacted projected binding. He's going to use that state. Oh, we can create them by hand using a binding. Get and set. Referencing a state. I don't think I can put state here. That's the one line he doesn't complain about. But then he's going to complain. I don't know. Well, isn't it the other way around? The observable class to the binding and the struct. Well, I think the table controller. I think what we saw the claim was the table controller can't have an @state equivalent, but it can have an observed object equivalent. So I'm trying to get the database selection bridge to be the observable object that it looks at, and then the challenge down here is everybody wants the, well, where is it? I mean, this thing has to be mutable. DatabaseView. Let's go here. He wants a binding to a database selection. Now, back here. Unfortunately, you can't create the binding like this, is what I'm getting out of these inits. Create init base binding of V. But this is the init for binding. And yet you give it a binding. That doesn't sound like what we want. Binding of value, binding. And this one, get and set. Well, that's what Paul Hudson's example does. Create a binding with closures that read and write the binding value. Create a binding. Well, and that was what I was trying to. Let's go back to his example. He's got state here and he creates the binding here, but I'm trying to do it in the observable object. Maybe that's the thing to say. How to convert observable object into a binding Swift. Okay, there's that. Published var. Observed objects variables projected value provides a wrapper from which you can get the binding of all its properties. You can get it by $car.is ready for sale. Okay, that should be okay here. Oh, maybe this, does he need $database.selection? No. And that's where we were. A states variable projected value provides a binding. Yes. Observed objects variables projected value. Oh. Car.dollar is ready. Oh, which is not what we want. Okay. You can get a way to, you can get a binding by dollar this dot variable. We want to have another type. Observed object. Well, I think he's got to be observed object, doesn't he? I mean, the getter and setter. No. The add observable class to the binding in this struct. Just use the observable object wrapper in a view mode. Is that? Well, maybe this thing needs to take. I don't know. Okay. So now this observed object is this selection. Okay, he's not changing the selection, he's just creating the actual stuff from it. Okay, so dot selection. I didn't try the other way. Dot dollar selection. Right, that's a published. Okay. Okay, let's put this back. Bridge. Observed object. Okay, so I'm passing the top level object in, which is kind of what I did before. All right, so DatabaseView takes the top level object. He can't use that directly. I want to make sure this side's right first. Okay, so he's going to take database selection. He's going to take dot selection. He's going to take dot selection. Okay, I think that takes care of him. Now this. Database dot selection. I got to find a shorter name for this thing. If I put these fields back up here, I'm just back where I was. Database selection dot it dot something. Yeah, maybe that's what I should do here is call it bridge for a moment. I think we can get better names, but just to keep it straight, bridge is the object on the back end side. Okay, so database selection. Well, he didn't do very well with the rename, did he? This is now bridge.selection. Are you okay? Okay, that's a good sign. Now the failure mode is going to be stuff is not updating right. Okay, he needs to be a bridge, right? Database selection is not a thing anymore, I don't think. Just bridge. Still not right. Okay, that one's okay. Now what's going on here? Database selection. Change let too far. Okay. Is that going to be the universal complaint? It's a local change. Okay, let's build. Now, let's see. I still don't, I mean, okay, built. That's good. We'll run tests. But I'm not sure we can really tell it's working without running it. Because we won't, the error we'll get will be updates don't happen. If that's what we see, we'll know we've messed something up. All right, test again. Because I think what happens is if you change a join, you're going to replace the whole selection object in there. Okay. I mean, I'm happy the complaints are gone because that's a good sign. But we won't know till we see. Yay. Okay. All right, and that is only affecting this stuff. Cool. Let's just try the simple case first. Should see 5 columns. Yep. Did I count right? Yep. Okay. Now, I don't know. We have not tried opening. Haven't done 2 in a row very much. Yep, that's fine. All right, let's go a little crazier. Add join. Class FK equals class ID. And registration person equals person.id. Let's save this. Yep. Test 1214. ST. Save. Oh, okay. Overwrite not allowed. I don't think we made a B. Well, we didn't make a C. Okay. Let's open the database. We should get a nice, yeah. Yeah, nice. Okay. Let's open something else. Go back and open the database configuration. .14c.st. And there we are again. Okay, and how big? I think we had 500 something? 600. Okay. Plausible. All right. I think we did it. That is cool. It's a little awkward. I mean, having this bridge. I'm wondering if it can live on the, well, no, we don't want Swift UI in the other, but database selection bridge. I mean, this does not really belong in here. I don't know. Maybe it's okay. Okay, well, that's a pretty big refactoring if you want to call it a refactoring. I guess it is. It's sort of convert struct to class, or convert struct to class. No, convert class to struct observed by UIHostingController or something. Pretty painful. All right. So we introduced a bridge observed object and converted database selection to a struct. And all this is so we can attempt to make database selection be codable. Or as. Okay. All right. Now, the question is, I am going to pull that out. Sorry. I'll leave it in here, but I'm pulling it out. Database selection bridge. And I'd really like to make the database view not be aware of the bridge. I don't know if that's possible. Now, database view. Does it change the selection? I guess that's the question. And I think the answer is yes, because it's got that $sign, right? Not those, that $sign. We need access to the binding of this, and it's not bound if we just have the raw struct. Okay, so that's, yeah. All right, now we're going to do this again. We want to say codable. And have it auto-generate all the stuff for us. Okay. Oh, it requires an it from. Okay. Okay. We had that in database configuration. We got a few minutes. Okay. No. init, okay. Init, yeah. Init from decoder. Now, I don't remember how to do this. Does not convert to encodable. So, no, I think, let's see, do I need this yet? I need to make sure these are codable. I'm digging further and further. Table metadata. And he's not, golly. Why do we not need it before? Okay. Let me revert this. We're going to pick up here next week, but I think it's too late today to work on it. So we'll discard all that. All right. Make sure everything's still green. Yeah, if the UI kit gets converted to Swift UI, it'll disappear. Did you add Codable to an extension to Memento? Yeah, I believe it did. Right. Yeah, we just added this, and I thought stuff just worked. But maybe not. We'll get there. All right. Well, we want to get rid of database view model, and we did. That's the big thing for today. I think we're set up for codable. Maybe we have to support one constructor up at the top level or something, or maybe each class needs it. I don't know. Like this didn't need it, so I don't know why anything else would, except maybe the separate classes need it separately or something. I don't know. Anyway, next week we'll solve that problem. Let's see. Next week is getting on to Christmas week. I know I'm traveling at the end of the week. I'm not sure if we're leaving Wednesday or Thursday yet, but I should definitely be here Monday and Tuesday, and I think we'll be here Wednesday. 99% sure about that one, and 99% sure we won't be here Thursday. But hopefully the codable thing's not too bad, and we can do that next week. And then I'll be off Christmas week probably entirely. Christmas to New Year's, take that off. All right, and I may come in for a brief session on doing something else. Kind of, I won't work on sort tables. I've got some other just silly kind of projects I've been putting off, and I may just pop in on a free afternoon and do some work on that, and I'll broadcast, but I probably won't do anything more than that, and I'll pick up sort tables in January. Again, probably starting the 2nd, given that the 1st is a Monday. All right. Well, I will see you next week, I hope, and have a good week and a good weekend. Take care. Bye-bye.